What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel, back with another sneaker news weekly drop. I'll be talking about the most interesting stories from the sneaker world this week and also be unboxing one of the most polarizing New Balance sneakers in the last few years, so we'll be getting into that. Let's get started. I want to start off these videos now going forward by telling you what was the sneaker that I wore the most in the last week, and you can do the same in the comments. So in the past week, the sneaker that I wore the most was the Junya Watanabe New Balance 1906L. I visited Copenhagen earlier this week just for a couple of days. I only took one pair with me, the 1906L. That shoe is my favorite shoe from the last year because of how versatile it is. Let me know in the comments, what did you guys wear in the last week? Let's get into the sneaker news of the week. The biggest news story of the week probably came from Kanye West. Yeezy brand gave us two new models this week. The first was the SL01, which you can actually buy right now on Yeezy.com for a price of $20, just like everything else on that site. And it does look like some kind of slipper, but for $20, can you really complain? I saw a lot of hate in the comments on social media about these, and quite honestly, I just don't get where that's coming from. You guys were more than willing to pay resale for those foam runners, which are pretty much slippers as well. So why slander a $20 slipper that anyone can get? Now, does it look like a jail slipper? Yes, it does. The sizing on them seems quite weird as well. When you convert it to European sizes, it seems like it goes from a size 10 to a 14. Also saw some pics of Kanye wearing them. Why does it look like he's wearing a pair that is 2 sizes too big? I did not buy these mainly because when you add in the shipping costs and the duties costs for buying these from Europe, it added up to around 42 euros. And honestly, I just don't need another pair of slippers, so I passed on them. And so far, my experience with the Yeezy website, I have placed 2 different orders last year. Both of them got delivered to me about 2 months after I placed the order. However, I heard from some of you guys that y'all placed orders and never received your products. So I can't vouch for Yeezy.com. I can't tell you to trust that website. I can just tell you my personal experience, and I did receive my orders, but I did get them quite late. And by the way, he did sell over $2 million in revenue from those shoes alone in 24 hours. I was a lot more excited about the second shoe that was unveiled, and the name for it was the BL01. These aren't released yet, and we don't know what the price is gonna be, but if the price is in fact $20, then I'm pretty sure we're all gonna be buying these. As a consumer, I gotta say, I love what Kanye is doing here, proving that you can actually make clothes and shoes and sell them for very affordable prices on a mass scale. You can say whatever you want about him, but he did say he wanted Yeezys for everyone, and he's delivering. These shoes, of course, they do kind of look like an orthopedic shoe, but if it said Balenciaga on the side, y'all would not think twice about it. I know y'all would want this shoe. The upper too, it looks like it's pretty decent material. Seems like it has a nubuck upper, and I'm very excited to see the other colorway possibilities on this one. Whenever these do go on sale, I'll definitely be buying one if they do retail for $20. Some news from Nigel Sylvester. So last week there was a fashion show in New York that Nigel Sylvester hosted, and we got a good look at some of his upcoming apparel, but of course everyone was talking about the sneakers. The official name for this is the Brick by Brick Jordan 4s, and we know that they will be releasing on March the 14th. I've said this earlier, I think this is one of the nicest looking pairs of Jordans this year, and I also think, based on the comments I've read online, I think this might be one of the hardest Jordan 4s to actually get this year because everyone seems to be loving them. It's a bit hard to tell what exactly the color on this shoe is because in some videos and pics it looks orange and in others it looks red. I don't care, the colorway is hard. They're kind of like red October Jordan 4s. I know a lot of people are turned off by the little miniature white swoosh on the mudguard, but that is a signature Nigel Sylvester detail, so I actually appreciate it. Rather surprisingly, we saw a second shoe at this fashion show which seemed to be a fire red colorway of the Jordan 4, although we didn't really get a good look at the shoe because bro really had the baggiest pants sitting over the shoe. So it seems like Nigel will be having a huge year for Jordan Brand this year. 2 pairs of 4s, and everyone is already very excited about them. There will be another collab between Songs for the Mute and Adidas on 2 different models, and this might even be the best Songs for the Mute collab so far with Adidas, especially on this model, the Taekwondo May. I think it's a very sleek looking shoe. It fits perfectly with today's preference for slimmer sneakers. And also they're collabing on a second model, the Adi Zero PR, which comes in 3 different colorways, red, black, and white, also looking pretty great. Let me know what you guys think about these. Songs for the Mute is based out of Australia. If anyone is watching this video from down under, let me know in the comments. We also got a good look at an upcoming Jordan 3 collab with Ama Manier, and this colorway is being called the Diffused Blue colorway. Seems like a fairly simple and clean shoe, nothing that's really wowing me here, but also I am not much of a 3s guy, so if you do love love Jordan 3s. Let me know your thoughts about this shoe in the comments. I wonder if the blue on this sneaker is inspired by the Washington Wizards when Jordan used to play for them, because it seems like a similar shade of blue. Alright, it's time for a weekly unboxing. I did pick up a pair of New Balance to review. I've talked about this model a lot. You guys know I'm a big fan of it, so I picked up the black and metallic silver colorway of the New Balance 1906L. There was another pair that dropped as part of this round, which was the juniper blue pair, and it's safe to say that at least so far these two pairs are the loudest colorways we've seen on this model. The 1906L really does get reactions out of people. Some of you think that this is maybe the ugliest New Balance sneaker that they've made in the last few years. I feel like it's one of the best sneaker dress shoe mashups we've seen. I love how they've integrated the loafer into the 1906 design, but I have said this before, I do think this model is very colorway dependent. I think that it looks best in the more monotone colorways, and I also think it looks best in materials that you would typically see on dress shoes, such as leather, or even those upcoming suede pairs I think look phenomenal. This pair right here is a mainly mesh sneaker, and I still think it just looks too much like a sneaker, and it's not really giving me those dressed up vibes, which is what I like about the 1906L. And I gotta keep it real, this colorway and the other one, the junipers, I just don't think that they look that good on this model. It is a bit of an ugly shoe in my opinion. I have no idea how I would wear something like this. If you did cop this, I would love to see your fit pics. Please do send them to me on Instagram. I'll probably repost some of you. I also wanted to talk about sizing. So with every 1906L that I've gotten in the past, I've got them in my true size, which is a US 11. And I've noticed that the leather pairs, so the Watanabe pairs, those have really widened out as I've worn them, and now they're just super comfy, even though when I first got them they were a bit tight. Same with the magnet colorway. Those also, I got those from my brother. We both wear the same size, and he said that those have stretched out a little bit. This pair, I went ahead and got them a half size up, so I got these at 11.5, and I gotta say they definitely fit big, so there's a lot of heel slippage with this pair. So my opinion on sizing with this pair has changed a bit. I would say get them in your true size. They're going to be quite tight in the beginning, but over time it will get much better, because going a half size up like I have here is just way too big, and I don't think they're ever gonna fit well. If you do get a chance, do of course try them on, because everyone's feet's different, but my personal opinion is get your true size. They're gonna feel tight in the beginning, but they'll space out eventually. In other news, let's keep talking about this brand, New Balance, because they recently dropped their 2024 news release talking about their revenue, and their revenue grew about 20% last year, even though bigger players in the sneaker industry like Nike, for example, have had a very negative year in terms of revenue and profit. And the CEO of New Balance even said that they could have been bigger if they want to, but they have chosen to focus on quality over revenue. Now, I think there's a lot of reasons why New Balance has seen double-digit growth in the last several years. I think that the biggest sneakerhead demographic, this age group, has gotten quite older. Wearing comfortable shoes is maybe a lot more important now than wearing the latest hyped up shoe. I also think that New Balance has really made some key athlete signings like Shohei Ohtani, for example. When I was in Japan last year, I saw Shohei Ohtani's picture literally everywhere, and on top of that, I think I saw more New Balances in that city of Tokyo than I've seen in any city in the world. It's crazy how much the brand has actually grown in Asia, and they've also experimented, I think, quite successfully with certain models like the 1906L. They seem to be a company that's just making all the right moves right now, and it shows in the revenue. More news, so the Travis Scott Nike Field Jacks, which was supposed to release on January the 17th, seems to be now pushed back by about a month. The new release date seems to be around All-Star Weekend, so around February the 15th. A lot of retailers had raffles for these open this past week, but they've all been taken down. We're also going to be getting one more pair of Supreme Dunk Nike SBs. I talked about the 4 other colorways last week, but it seems like there'll be a 5th one. This is the charcoal black colorway of the Dunk, and it has a red trim to it with the 94 on there as well, so pretty clean pair. And the last bit of news comes from Jordan Brand. They mysteriously, quote unquote, disappeared from social media in the last week. Their account seems to have been removed, but it was pretty obvious. Most people figured it out. It seems to be part of the rollout for the Jordan 185 bread colorway, or the band ones. From what I read in the comments, most people found this move to be pretty corny, but that's not even the worst thing about this release, because we found out from sneaker news that this sneaker is actually going to be super ultra limited. They've said that they've tried to make this sneaker as close to basically a 1-to-1 comparison with the originals that came out in '85. So a lot of collectors would have wanted this pair in the collection, including myself. So why make these super limited besides just generating hype? And that's a strategy that has already turned off so many people from Nike and Jordan Brand in the last 5 years. And I don't think this strategy is gonna do them any favors this time around. So I was pretty disappointed to hear that, because this was a pair that I was definitely looking forward to. And that's about it for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in once more to the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so on Instagram. Instagram is the best place to reach out to me. Thanks for stopping by and for supporting my channel. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.